Okay. Good evening and welcome to the November Barnstable Recreation Commission meeting. This meeting of the Recreation Commission is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, I must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Seeing none, let's move on to roll call. Alicia?
Present.
James?
Present.
Sharon?
Present.
Tim?
Tim Lou's present.
Renee, present. I'd ask for an action to approve the July minutes.
Sharon, approved.
All in favor? Aye.
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 The minutes are approved. Any old business? I would like to just thank everyone who participated in our September and October road trip, where we were able to visit many of the recreation facilities, and we will be working on a full report that we will share in the February 2024 timeframe. Moving right along to new business, I'd like to start off with our Community Service Award.
Good evening, everybody. As you know, John Gleason, Recreation Director. So over the summer, Assistant Director George Noonan and myself were discussing, community service awards. We've done it in the past, but kind of with COVID, it's been here and there with these sort of things. And, we're sitting at the Calmus swim meet and enjoying all the things going on. And then later, not too long after that, the carnival and all these things. And one person, one community member in business came to mind. Paulo from Palio's Pizza and Candy Corner has some children in our programs, and he's always gracious to donate candy, ice cream, pizza, and on half days of play where we take kids out in the community on half days and we go out and do, bowling, we take them to the movies, we go off Cape and do different adventure type parks for the kids so they have something to do on a half day while their parents are working. So, I reached out to Madam Chair Renee about, the month of November, it'd be kind of a month of giving thanks with Thanksgiving coming up, and it would be an honor for us to award Paulo this award. He does a lot for us, doesn't ask for much, and gives so much to us in our programs and our kids. So I reached out to him, and he was honored to be awarded this for tonight. So I would like to call him up. Hopefully you can say a couple words, but he just does so much for the programs and makes it affordable for us to do things and having lunch for the kids and then making our programs affordable when we're trying to give the kids like a meal or something like that during the swim events and stuff like that. So we really appreciate it. So Paulo, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
if you
you.
just want to say a couple words.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm truly honored for this award. And first of all, I would, also like to recognize my staff between both places at Candy Corner and Palio's. I wouldn't be able to do anything that we do and support the community without them. And also to, the staff at for the recreation department, John Gleason, and his team, which are always willing to help. I mean, as John said, I have 3 kids within that. They take full advantage of all the programs. We recently just rented the HYCC for a night skating, and it was absolutely a blast. The HYCC and the programs that we have in the town are an extreme asset that does make Barnstable and a place that to live, work, and play. So thank you very much, and thank you for the work that you do.
Take a picture. Yeah, if we could do is maybe have you guys stand up behind, like near your seats, and then Paul and I will come up here and grab a photo.
Thank you.
Yes, Mark?
Paulo, come over, just, there you go, perfect, thank you.
All righty. So the next item on our agenda is the discussion on pickleball hours at the Marstons Mills courts.
Sure. So if some of you recall our last meeting in person in July, we did have Barnstable Pickleball Group come to us to discuss, their needs of the use of the courts. And following that meeting, the community services director, Chris Ganella, and myself met with some members of the group to discuss kind of what we could do going forward to best utilize the new pickleball courts with the tennis courts, where they do have overlay pickleball courts for them to use. They do use them quite regularly during the summer months in June, July, and August. But our current rules state when a tennis player comes on, then we need to, backtrack away from some of those pickleball courts, and it could be as few as 1 tennis player, when we could have, over 100 pickleball players trying to play during the summer months. So we are looking for the Recreation Commission support to allow the Barnstable Pickleball Group to have consistent use for June, July, and August from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. to help them facilitate their play and to keep players moving in and out of the courts, and not having as many players wait as there is playing. Again, it's a court that is sought out by a lot of residents, and non-residents do come, but it's a way for them to have an extra, I think it's 24, an extra 24 players playing and not sitting out, and they can rotate in and out. So I believe you guys have received the letter they sent. I hope you had time to read it. If you have any questions of myself or best that could help it out, but you're just looking for your support in that, so then we can go to the town manager to then take it to make it official, where we'd put we'd probably have to change the agreement we have with them, put up new signs, just so they would be able to utilize that without any issues or confrontation, because sometimes the coming and going of tennis and pickleball can lead to some minor issues, but again, we want to try to alleviate that so people would really understand what the hours of play are for tennis, hours of play for pickleball, and make it work seamlessly with what's going on over there at the courts.
So John, can you share with us the alternative that we have for the tennis players? Where else can they go?
Sure. So we have pretty much except for, I believe, Centerville, every village has tennis courts. Barnstable High School has, I think, 7 or 8 operational now. I know in the middle there's 1 or 2 courts that are down, but there's plenty of courts at Barnstable High School. In Barnstable Village or BWB, there's 2 tennis courts there. In Osterville, there's 2 tennis courts there, brand new post-tension concrete tennis courts, beautiful courts. There's 2 courts in Cotuit. And then on the off hours of, depending on what, we ultimately is decided, there's 2 tennis courts in Marstons Mills that people can play early in the morning, early in the afternoon. But pretty much anywhere where you live in town, there's access to different areas to play tennis.
Any other questions of the commissioners?
What kind of feedback have you got from
Turn your-
tennis players, community tennis players? Are they aware of this change? It's great.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers that were presented, yes, I mean, the number of pickleball players compared to tennis players is staggering. But yes, I mean, I have talked to a few tennis players and made them aware of potential changes. And I'm sure this is just the preliminary stages of getting your support. Now, after this meeting, if people see this online or questions, we get it out there, there might be some potential questions. But again, the numbers are, for the May, June, July, and August, 6,638 pickleball players compared to 97 tennis players. And we're not like eliminating tennis from the facility. It's just for 2 hours a day because the number of pickleball players is overwhelmingly compared to tennis, where, again, they have 24 players out there, and there could be 1 tennis player that now makes all those pickleball players have to retreat and, take away from their play. So we're just trying to make sure that everyone has a fair shot at playing, but maybe for tennis players, they just change their hours of play. They play a little bit earlier, come a little bit later to play. And, if on certain days that there's not enough pickleball players, then they don't need this space. So tennis could use it. But if people show up and then start wanting to play, then during those times of 9 to 11, then the tennis players would have to retreat off the courts. We have changed the hours in Osterville. We have pickleball only from 9 to 5 in Osterville. So we've kind of allowed more tennis on that court, which is only a couple miles away. So then again, if tennis players want to go down the street, comparable courts, it's the same surface, same company that made them. They're really nice courts, and it's an opportunity for them to go play there.
Yeah, the numbers are overwhelming, supply and demand. I'm in favor of making the change. I just want to be sure that the tennis players have...
Yeah, like I said, I've talked to a few of them and let them know that, this was going to be proposed. Obviously, I don't know all 97 of those people, and I think of those 97, a lot of them are repeat people. So it's the same, 3 to 6 people they see over and over and over again at the courts. And a lot of them towards the end of the summer were already making changes themselves. They were coming a little bit later, or they were coming a little bit earlier to allow the pickleball players to play during those times. So some of them were already making the changes themselves.
Yeah, you haven't created a problem for them. You've provided a solution with the other tennis courts. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal. We're trying to balance, play for everybody.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to, you concede a little bit over in one area, and now we're trying to, concede over in this area to allow more pickleball, because that's where we have the dedicated pickleball courts. That's where they play. And as you heard before, this is a social piece as well. We don't want to break up this big group to different little areas. They want to, play together. When they're not playing, they're, standing on the waiting areas. They're talking with each other, seeing how everyone's doing, meeting new people, creating new friendships. They get together after play and they do socials and have a good time. And it's a way for them to, especially for people that are just moving here, to, make some new friends and play some pickleball and have a great time.
I can feel your passion.
Yeah, it's a great sport, and they're great people, and we're just trying to, Chris Ganella, the community service director, and myself, we're just trying to make sure that they have the opportunity to do what they like to do with the number of players they have.
What is the argument from the tennis side, or is there one? You know, I mean, is it, do they want to play there so much because of, you know, close proximity to where they live? Is it, I mean, why wouldn't they want to drive over to Osterville when they can play, when the hours are better for them?
It's just a preference. Not that I manage the golf course or golf courses, but I know it's similar to that, where certain players just want to play at Hyannis, or certain players just want to play at Old Barnstable, or if I'm going to play a pickup basketball game, I'm going to pick the court that I maybe like the best. Maybe it's not convenient for me per se, but like maybe that's the nicest, you know, the nicest rims in town. That's what I want to shoot on. Sometimes it's just, you know, it's the newer court, so that's where people gravitate towards. But again, Osterville is just as nice. You know, it's it's the same material, same everything. West Barnstable and Cotuit, sure. Yeah, I mean, if you live in Hyannis, you're not necessarily going to go to Cotuit, but again, people that live out in Marstons Mills, Cotuit, you know, it's an easy ride to get to the former Cotuit elementary school to play tennis there. So, again, people in this town have lots of choices, and it's 2 hours every day that they could choose to go somewhere else, or, you know, again, play a little earlier or play a little later.
I suspect that there'll be some pushback. Just, I mean, tennis is an old sport. You know, I think that's probably a lot of what, you know, has to do with it. It's people are just set in their ways. They're not ready to switch over to pickleball. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some people out there that, you know, are tennis and tennis only, and they refuse to play pickleball. But there are some that do both. But I would, a lot of the tennis players in the community that I've seen over my 20 years do not necessarily play on our public courts. They are people that gravitate towards Kings Grant, Mid-Cape Tennis. Yes, there are people that play in, you know, Hyannis and Marstons Mills and stuff like that, but not all the time and not in large numbers. It's some people here and there and every once in a while. The other people really are gravitating to these other private type of locations to play tennis.
I actually happened to be at the one on White's Path in Yarmouth last week at night, and it was packed, all tennis. So they're playing.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Any more discussion? So, do we have a motion in favor of changing the hours for the pickleball during the months of June, July, and August between the hours of 9 and 11?
I will motion.
Do we have a second?
Second? Sorry.
Yeah, then each person has to vote to.
So I'm going to go down the roll call. So would you like James or Jim?
Jim,
Jim?
I'm in favor.
Alicia?
Yes, in favor.
Sharon?
In favor.
Tim?
In favor.
And Renee, I am in favor. So we have unanimously approved it. Let's continue to keep the good data. I think that would be helpful. And for those of you who may be listening and are tennis players, I want to make you comfortable in having an option for you. And if you have any feedback, we welcome you to reach out to John or the Recreation Commission. So thank you all. All righty. So we are going to thank you for also attending our meeting. We're going to move to the next topic, and that is the fee approval for the town manager's hearing, which is this Thursday. And John, I'll ask you to give us some background on that.
Sure. So this year we just have one, we're proposing one fee increase. The Rec Commission approved it last year. at a higher number. The town manager did decline to increase our fees, so we kept our summer leisure program at $1,200. $1,200 is extremely affordable for parents. We do offer grant money and financial aid to make sure that that all the kids in the community that want to do this program can do it. Over the course of this summer, we really looked hard at our program to figure out what it costs with field trips and staffing, and for a long time, this program has been, underfunded with the fees that we've been collecting for this program. We did a cost analysis of other programs that are similar, and their programs are twice or if not 3 times higher than ours. I will not mention their names. I wouldn't want to do that, but local private type of camps in this community are more than double what we offer. So we are looking to go from $1,200 to $1,400 to make sure that we can provide a top quality program to our children in our town so they can enjoy the same sort of things they've been enjoying over the years. What's happened is we've had to take money from other places in our budget to supplement the program, and we cannot continue to take money from certain areas to keep paying for this program, because then other programs will start to suffer because they won't have the funds that they need to do their programs. So last year, again, the Rec Commission approved, it was $1,450 what we were asking for last year. After crunching the numbers again, we decided that the best number to do is $1,400, and we do have a fee hearing with the town manager on, I believe it's November 14th. It's official. So usually before those sort of meetings with the town manager, he always would ask us if the Rec Commission has approved. So that's why it's on the agenda tonight. So when we meet with him, we can let him know.
Any questions?
I have a question. When was the last time you increased the fees on the summer leisure program?
Good question. A couple years ago, I do remember it being at one point, I think like $950. And then during COVID, I think it kind of stayed the same a little bit. We had to bump it up because for the past couple years, minimum wage has always gone up, and it finally hit the max last January. So it kind of, the minimum wage capped out at $15 per hour. So we've always kind of had to do some increases here and there to kind of keep up with those sort of things. But then again, being new into my position and kind of understanding our budget and how it works, quickly learned that, this program, isn't charging enough money to sustain itself and still, again, offer the quality of programs. So, if we, don't get this kind of money, then it's, potential of cuts of, one less field trip that we go on. We can't go to the beach as much as we do. We have to find ways to cut back, and we don't want to do that. This is a program that every year gets extremely high reviews. The kids leave the program in tears because they're going to miss their friends from the summer. They're going to miss their counselors. They just have, it's one of the best experiences they have. And we want to make sure that we're continuing to offer that same sort of top-notch program and still keep it very affordable for families in town. And again, we offer grant money and financial aid money. So even though if we go up to the $1,400, we're still offering those sort of relief for families to make it affordable for them. And we do offer payment plans. So if you need to pay $100 every week during the summer by the end of the summer to pay it off, we will work with you. Whatever we need to do to make sure that kid can enjoy the program, we do. But we do need the fees to support it.
So the current cost is $1,200 a year, or $1,250?
That does, we currently last summer charged $1,200.
So we're talking about $4 a week.
Yeah, so if I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if you were to break it down per hour, we're talking $4 to $5 per hour for their kid to enjoy field trips, going to the beach, all these great things. So, you cannot find a babysitter or anything else to match these sort of prices. And like I said, private camps in town are, double, triple, those sort of fees. So, yes, we do need to go up, but it's still, even when we're going up, we are,
Not to be cavalier, but
Yeah.
it's a small increase per family.
yes. Yep.
And how many families are involved in the program?
So families I don't know, but we were full. We were full last year. We had, I believe, around 300 children in our programs. We take, depending on the location, anywhere from like 55 to 65 kids per location. And we hire staff accordingly to meet ratios and, the cost of athletic equipment, the cost of going on these field trips to admission to these places are going up. In our own daily lives when we're going out to eat or buying clothes or whatever we're doing, the prices are going up because it just costs more to do things. And again, it's, when we're talking $1,400, it does seem like a big number, but when you break it down by how many weeks, how many days, how many hours, you're talking $4 to $5 per hour.
It's an awesome program. My daughter was in it this past summer and loved it. So, and I completely agree. I was comparing summer camps, and everywhere else is charging a lot more than Barnstable Rec is. So I definitely support that.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? I will look for a motion to approve the fee increase.
I will do the motion to increase.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, so we will go down roll call. So I'll start with Jim.
Here?
Yeah, you just have to say, just say approve. Just say approve.
Approved.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Alicia?
I approve.
Sharon?
Approved.
Tim?
Approved.
And Renee, I support the increase and approve.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are now going to move into the recreation staff report, and that will be you again, John.
All right, great. It's been a while since we've done this because we did some tours and we were off in August, but I'm just going to stick to kind of last month. As stated earlier, we have a fee hearing with the town manager on November 14th. Recently, I met with the principal of Barnstable High School and the wellness director to discuss something that I'm trying to push into the high schools. As you're aware, finding staff, in particular lifeguards, is very challenging. So I have asked the high school if they would be willing to offer a lifeguarding class for PE credit at the high school. I had 2 meetings. They both went really well. They're very interested in it. And of course, when you talk about lifeguarding, obviously we would need a pool. So I met with the operations director of the YMCA that currently kind of oversees the use of the pool, and they were for it. Obviously, it's going to cost something. I don't know what that is yet. So we're just trying to partner with the school department to hopefully ultimately help us or someone like the YMCA or a local hotel that needs lifeguards is to get more lifeguards out into the community. So we're seeing if that can happen, and hopefully next month or shortly thereafter I can kind of give you more updates on that. But we've never tried it before. Trying something different. We have to think outside the box of how to get this to work. Hopefully it's a win-win for the students. They'll get a PE credit and they could do something like this that's in school. So they don't have to do it during like a school vacation, on a weekend, or at night. Because a lot of times when we try to offer these sort of classes, they're away on a family vacation, or they have basketball practice, or whatever it may be, and they can't attend. So hopefully this is a way for them to do it. We have our winter program registrations on Wednesday, November 8th. We have a whole wide range of programs for kids to do, from kindergarten all the way up through adults. We have different programs for them. Registration will be on the 8th. Our brochure is online. We delivered it to the schools. Hopefully that reached all the classrooms and went out to all the kids in their backpacks. And I also did send out an email through our registration software system to families to alert them that registration was coming up. Moving on to aquatics. So if you got a beach sticker in the past, hopefully a couple days ago, you should have received an email to renew your beach sticker for 2024. Unfortunately, when we send that out, it doesn't allow us to have some sort of like opening, message to people. It's just like your time to renew your sticker. So unfortunately, some people do see it as like a phishing type email looking for something. But no, we are starting to sell 2024 beach stickers. And I encourage everyone to open up their email, and when they can renew. So it's much better to wait now for a couple of weeks than come Memorial Day weekend. So we're hoping to stay on top of it like we have in the past, but to get to the final number closer, and not later in the closer to summer, that we can get a lot of these done in the winter months when people are sitting on their couch, and all of a sudden randomly in the mail comes a sticker, and they're really excited that it's middle of January and they have it and they're all set, so they don't have to worry about it. Since COVID, we do have to change people's behaviors of how to purchase things and do things, and again, it's another year in line of trying to persuade people to do this. So hopefully they've received the email, and there will be multiple emails coming out between now and the new year to renew their sticker. So we're pushing that forward. There are no fee increases for the beaches. All the fees are staying the same. So we're able to get ahead of the sales and get them out there now.
And John, can you just let us know how did we do this year with the beach ticket?
We did very well, even though the weather was not the best this summer. Beach sticker sales were, I believe, in some areas greater than in the past. Our daily ticket sales were very strong. So it was overall a very good summer for us. So yeah, again, no complaints from my end for that. Last but not least, kind of our programming type stuff for the month of October. I'm sure, as most of you, want to get out on the weekends and start doing things after a busy week. But the weather on our weekends, on Saturdays in particular, have been awful. It has pretty much rained almost every single Saturday. So therefore, we've had to, cancel tennis lessons multiple times. We've had to cancel soccer and archery and all these other things. We have or will be making them up, but it just makes it that much harder because we get into now November. It gets a lot colder, especially for like little kindergarten, first grader trying to play soccer. Yes, they are running around, but it's not ideal, come mid-November if it's 30 degrees out and they're out playing soccer. So we try to end at a reasonable time frame, but again, we have to make the classes up. We try to do our best to uphold, if we say we're going to do 6 weeks, we're going to try to do 6 weeks. If we can only do 5, we tried our best to get it in, but then we have to move on to the next season, to basketball and some other things. But the weather hasn't been great, so hopefully the rest of the season will be good for us. In between, like the HYCC and the BCIS, there was a street soccer cage. We put that up usually around April vacation time, and it comes down, middle of October. So Mark has plenty of parking for HYCC events. Come hockey season and hockey games, the place gets very busy and needs all the parking it can get. So we take down the soccer cage because a lot of the kids and the adults in the community that use it don't really use it during the late fall, winter time, so we take it down. So DPW did that for us, so it was really appreciated they did that. I believe Open Streets has gone down to, I think, 2 times a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. So we have a staff member, one of our program coordinators will work that Sunday and have like a little booth per se, a table of activities and games and information from Barnstable Recreation. We did that again. We're glad to do that. It's a way for us to get out in the community, way for our staff to interact with the public and see what's going on. And I believe the weather was great for that, and our staff that did that had a good time. We had our Not So Scary Halloween event a couple weeks ago. We combined it with an HYCC program, the Spooky Skate, so the families can come to our event. They can do, a lot of free like arts and crafts. We had a magician. We do charge for a little bit, like $1 per game, and then kids win a prize. And then afterwards, they could go down and do like a public skate, but more of a Halloween theme. And it was very well attended. Everyone that I talked to had a good time. And this year we have Mark was able to secure someone in for the snack bar. So then families were able to, have lunch or have snacks. And it was just a great, afternoon of fun for the community. Last but not least, we almost pretty much do it every year. We do a recreation volleyball night. We do it in like basketball and some other things where we invite our participants in a particular sport and we invite them to a high school game. So those young, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders can see, the big high school kids play, so they can kind of dream of being, a Red Hawk or maybe going to some other school, but to kind of see what it's about, so they can kind of learn the sport, absorb things from their coaches, play it a little bit, and then be like, ooh, well, in a couple of years, I'm going to be able to do this. And there's no better role models of volleyball than girls from Barnstable High School and Coach Turco and his staff. Role models, on the bench, coaching, girls on the court, hustling and diving, and good sportsmanship and teamwork. And so it was good for the kids that went. There was a handful of kids that went, and it was good for them to kind of see that. So hopefully someday they'll want to do that. So that's the report for the month. If you have any questions, certainly glad to take them.
John, I had a question. On the lifeguarding program, obviously it's still in the works, but if it's going to be during school, will they have to be transported over to the pool, and how will?
Yes.
Do you have an idea of how you're planning on that?
Yes, great question. So the Recreation Division has 3 15-passenger vans. So we've offered our services to take the teachers or students over to the pool and then bring them back. During the course of the summer, our assistant director, George Noonan, got certified as a lifeguard instructor, and we had other staff that were interested in as well. One of those staff happens to be a high school teacher. So thinking in mind of the future, this teacher got certified. They are not in the wellness department. I don't control who's going to actually teach the class, but potentially this person could be. We do have another lifeguard for us that is in the wellness department. They did not get certified, but we can get them certified by next school year. So again, we don't really control, the school part of things. We're just trying to be a support to make it happen. And like I said, George is certified, so when they go to the pool, like George will be involved with helping to teach the class, because you can have, I think, one instructor can teach 10 students. So we're hoping that we have more than 10 students, so then George would help kind of teach the lifeguarding skills with this teacher. But we would use our vehicles to take them over. Again, anything that we can do to assist, to hopefully then in the long run benefit us in the town, we are trying to do.
John. It sounds like a great program, a great idea. What's the hourly wage that we'll be paying the lifeguards?
Sure. So, I mean, the town of Barnstable pays $19 per hour. If you are certified in other things, you can get, increase the pay. So if you get certified as a swim instructor, you would get paid more. If you're like a head lifeguard, you get paid more. But starting pay for a lifeguard is $19 an hour. So we're trying to, again, get more kids to do it. And we've noticed over the years, sure, money and your hourly pay is beneficial, but we are more than just the job and the money they're going to get. All the things that they do at work and outside of work to really bond together and form these like lifelong friendships. We're really trying to promote that more because, the town, I don't think will be able to compete with like a Target or those sort of things that those people are offering, $20 or more for these employees. I don't know if the town will ever be able to get to that point, potentially, but right now we can't. So we need to let them know more than just about it's $19 an hour. It's about the lifelong friendships they'll create, how much fun they'll have. They get paid to work out, so during their job when they're getting paid, they can go for a swim, they can go for a run to stay in shape. So when they need to make that rescue, they're ready to do it and in shape. So we're just trying to build more numbers in that and get more kids to buy into the whole aspect of it and not just what they're going to make per hour. But it's very competitive. $19 is very competitive, but it's more than that.
And the other thing that the whole lifeguarding job opportunity brings a lot of leadership skills for a student. It's much different than working retail. It does bring a young person into a position of great responsibility. There's also another need that we aren't going to really dive in today, but that's the number of students at every level, high school, middle school, and high school, that don't have the ability to swim yet. And I think that that's also one of the blockers into fulfilling the need for trained lifeguards. But that's another topic for another time, making sure that every child in Barnstable has the ability to swim. We do live on an island. Any other questions for John? All righty. Thank you, John. We're going to move on to Mark's staff report.
Thank you. Tonight's for the staff report. I'll try to make it quick. On the administrative side, the Little Sandwich Shop Cafe opened on, I believe it was Monday, October 11th, at the HYCC. They're currently open Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., and on Saturdays and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's the first time it's been open since COVID. I think it's taken them a few weeks to get some people kind of on board with just knowing that they're back. It's back, it's open, it's operational. But Dean and his staff seem to be doing well and enjoying it there, and it's been well received by the patrons of the facility. We'll also be working on. We have plans for a new website that we're working with Community Web Development. We hope to have it up and running by sometime February. It's been a little bit of a process getting some monies approved and this, that, and the other. But I believe we're at we just got final approval, and I believe it's a 30-day wait for this money to then be allocated to be paid out. So we're in kind of the beginning stages of that right now. For Ice News, the BHS boys and girls hockey programs, as well as St. John Paul II. All their schedules are made, times are reserved for practices and games throughout this season. That season will start Monday, the Monday after Thanksgiving. We are also in the brink of 2 hockey tournaments coming up this month. We'll have the Warrior Cup hockey tournament, which is put on by Cape Cod Hockey Tournaments this upcoming weekend, November 10th through 12th. We'll also have the Cape Cod Waves Cranberry Classic hockey tournament. It's the weekend of November 24th through 26th. That one is an annual one, always held on the weekend after Thanksgiving. Both of those tournaments are excited that the cafe is back up and running and operational. So I hope that's going to be a win-win for all. In the gym side of things, again, Sturgis East and West basketball programs have finalized their schedules for their upcoming basketball season. And again, that season is congruent with hockey and will begin the Monday after Thanksgiving. Barnstable Youth Basketball is also back in our facility. They'll be beginning their practices for the winter this upcoming week. And we reapplied lines to our indoor gymnasium for indoor pickleball season, which I can get into in a second. That we did last 2 weeks ago. On some program news from our end, our SOAR, our Schools Out after school recreation program, that's been ongoing strong since I believe it was the 16th of September. We're going great, over 50 kids signed up for that program, so that's a great thing going on every day at the HYCC, every full day of school for the Barnstable kids. Our Learn to Skate classes are currently in session with, there was 46 participants over 2 sessions on Saturday mornings. And as I mentioned with pickleball, the pickleball indoor sessions started last week on the 30th of October, and we're sold out on both sessions with over 30 participants each day, Monday and Wednesday, coming inside to play. So those are some of the highlights on our end.
Quick question, Mark.
Yeah.
Is the what was I going to ask you? Oh, the Warrior Cup. Is that what ages is that?
I believe I can get back to you on the specifics, but I believe it's all like
It's all kids, though.
all
Okay,
kids.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. We have one major adult tournament, but that takes place later. It's actually in June after our season really ends.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I had a quick question.
Yep.
On the pickleball, actually,
Yeah.
is there ever time that there's a opening at nighttime to put in pickleball times?
Well, not per se at the HYCC. It's pretty stressed and taxed with our gymnasium and our commitments to some of the local schools. But I believe John and the rec department, we've kind of instituted something to start. I'll let John kind of speak to it because he knows the particulars.
Yeah, we will be doing, I believe, Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30, top of my head. It's going to be run by our program coordinator, Jackie Keeney. Someone approached me last year about looking to do something more at night. So we are doing it, registering it in advance because we can only have so many players indoors, and you sign up. It's $5 every night. So you don't have to sign up for a block of time. It's just you pick and choose what nights you want to do, and you can register in advance online or in person. But we are trying that for the first time indoors at an elementary school. But as you can tell, pickleball is popular here and everywhere. So I think it will be, very popular and filled up pretty quickly, I would imagine. I did reach out to the Barnstable Pickleball Group to notify them of the new offering. And I do know that they did email blast all their members, which they have hundreds and hundreds of members. So I assume that come Wednesday, people will be signing up.
That starts Wednesday for registration?
Registration starts Wednesdays for residents. So if you're a resident, you can get in prior than non-residents by a whole week. Non-residents can start registering on November 15th. So if those sort of programs are full, because obviously we want to take care of our residents first, we do that, but we give people a week, and then people that don't live in Barnstable but would like to do our programs, they can do that and sign up online.
Quick question, is the yoga program still going on Wednesdays?
Oh, yeah. At the facility, we have Tuesday community yoga, and then we have Wednesday chair yoga. Both are free, open to the public. Community yoga is 8:30 to 9:30, and then the chair yoga on Wednesdays is 10 to 11.
All righty.
Thank you.
Anything else? All righty, we're moving along very nicely. Are there any matters not anticipated for discussion this evening? Any public comment? Seeing none. Any ideas for agenda items for next month? I know we will be looking for nominations for the 2 elected offices, and that is the chair and the vice chair. We also have a real need to have someone sit on the CPC, and that's going to be important as we pull together our recommendations from the road trip. It is, there is a time commitment, so I would like to see if anyone wants to know more, look into that. And if it's a matter of time, maybe we can co-chair that opportunity. I'm currently sitting on the Sandy Neck, and that's really, really kind of a great group, and I'll be bringing in some reports probably starting in January. We will take the nominations for the office in December and then vote in January. Any questions? John, any ideas for guests to invite in December?
I mean, the Barnstable High School has a new athletic director, so I don't know if people were aware of that. But he is pretty new, so I don't know if it might be too soon. In the past, I mean, maybe talking to Barnstable Travel Basketball. Off the top of my head, right on the spot, those are the people I can think about, but we can talk offline and see if there's anyone else that potentially want to come.
Okay. And I would also offer to the commissioners, if you see an opportunity in the community, an interest, a need, that's how pickleball started. That's how the smoke-free beaches started. It really comes from our involvement in the community and things that we might hear about. So we'll keep that open.
I do have a question, and I don't know, maybe John or Mark, but have you heard of the United Kids Sports Development Group? They're,
Yep.
I think, through Barnstable High School. I don't know if you've had them speak in the past or not, but I know they do a lot of good.
I believe Coach Doc has.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
But that could be a potential.
Okay. All right.
So with that, I ask for a close adjournment of this meeting. Our next meeting will be on December the 4th, and that will be a virtual meeting.
Motion?
A second.
Second.
All in favor of closing our meeting? I'll go down the list. Jim? Alicia?
Approved.
Sharon?
Approved.
Tim?
Approved.
Renee? And myself. Thank you very much, and see you in December.